Good day everyone. So now we will gonna talk about global integration. So first, what is global integration? So it is a process that describes how countries, economies, and societies becomes more interconnected and reliant on each other across the world. And also, it happens through the effortless movement of goods, services, capital, information, and even people across borders. So now, why do we interconnect? So global integration is not just a political or economic concept, it is also shaped by the daily choices people make that strengthen interconnectedness. One of the best examples of global integration is social media. It provides opportunities to communicate with people from other countries, adopt popular cultural trends, and purchase products online. So next, let's talk about the benefits of global interconnectedness. So global integration means that actions in one part of the world can influence people, economies, and societies elsewhere. So as nations become more interconnected, this interdependence creates opportunities for cooperation, shared growth, and cultural exchange. At the same time, it also means that disruptions or instability in one region can affect others. In the end, global integration highlights both the benefits and challenges of living in a connected world, reminding us that collective action is necessary for a better global future. So what global integration brings? So as nations and communities grow more interconnected, the movements of goods, ideas, and people across borders has become a natural part of modern life. So this creates opportunities for cooperation, shared growth, and cultural exchange, but it also spreads risks when instability arises in one region. So now, why global integration matters? So despite these challenges, global integration is seen as inevitable because technology and communication continue to bring societies closer together. So it reminds us that no country exists in isolation and that collective action is essential in addressing global issues. So ultimately, interconnectedness highlights both the benefits and responsibilities of living in a shared global network.
So, hi everyone. I am George Alfred Christoph Garcia, and for my part, I'll be talking about the four takeaways into why global integrations is inevitable. So, basically guys, pag sinabing global integration, ibig sabihin lahat ng bansa sa mundo ay nagiging konektado sa economy, culture, technology at communication. At dahil sa mga pagbabago ngayon, hindi na talaga natin mapipigilan ang paghalo-halo at pakikipag-ugnayan ng bawat bansa. So, in this topic, may apat tayong takeaways kung bakit inevitable o hindi na talaga maiiwasan ang global integration. Firstly, ito ay the economic prosperity, cultural exchange, technological advancement, at conflict management. So, isa-isayin natin yan sila para mas madali nating maintindihan kung paano nagiging parte ng buhay natin ang global integration. So, first, the economic prosperity. So, ito yung part na kung saan sobrang obvious ang epekto ng global integration. Kapag may connection sa ibang bansa, mas dumadami ang opportunities sa bawat isa. So, halimbawa sa Pilipinas, malaki ang ambag ng international trade at mga foreign investments. Maraming trabaho ang nabubuo dahil sa mga international companies sa BPO industry at sa export ng mga local gaya ng electronics at prutas. So basically, global integration helps countries grow economically. Mas nagkakaroon ng partnerships, mas lumalawak ang market, at mas nadagdagan ang kita ng mga tao. Kaya kung mapapansin ninyo, kahit simpleng online shopping lang like Shopee or Lazada, connected pa rin yan sa global trade. Kasi karamihan ng produkto na galing dito sa produkto na nasa Pilipinas ay galing din sa ibang bansa. So dito pa lang makikita na natin na kung gaano kalakas ang epekto ng global integration sa economic growth. So makikita rin dito sa picture na may anim na importanteng points na nagpapakita kung paano natin masusukat kung talagang maganda ang pag-unlad ng isang bansa. Hindi lang base sa pera, kundi sa kabuuang quality ng buhay. So, una, holistic measure. So, ibig sabihin, hindi lang kita o kita ng bansa ang tinitingnan. Kasama rin dito yung education, health, equality, at yung overall well-being ng mga tao. Kasi kahit mataas nga ang kita ng isang bansa, kung hindi naman nararamdaman ng mamamayan yung ginawa, hindi pa rin tunay yung progreso. So, pangalawa, the environmental considerations. So, dito tinitingnan kung paano naaapektuhan ng pag-unlad ang kalikasan. So, halimbawa, mas maraming factory. Pero kung kapalit naman ito ay pollution, deforestation, at pagkaubos ng resources, hindi rin yung sustainable growth. Kaya mahalaga na may balance ang development at pangangalaga sa environment. So, pangatlo, social well-being. Ito yung aspeto ng health, education, at quality of life. Kasi hindi mo masasabing maunlad ang bansa kung mataas nga GDP. Pero ang mga tao ay gutom, walang access sa maayos na edukasyon, o hindi ligtas yung lugar nila. So dapat kasama ang kapakanan ng mga tao sa sukatan ng tunay na pag-asenso. So pangapat ay yung long-term planning. Ito naman yung pag-iisip ng mga bansa hindi lang para sa kasalukuyan, kundi para sa future generations. Ang tunay na pag-unlad ay yung hindi sinasakripisyo yung kinabukasan ng mga susunod na henerasyon para lang sa pansamantalang kita. Kaya mahalaga na sustainable at pangmatagalan ng plano ng bawat bansa. And then, panglima, international comparisons. So, ginagamit to para makita kung nasaan ang isang bansa kumpara sa iba. Pero hindi lang sa economic numbers, kasama dito kung gaano katahimik ang bansa, kung gaano kalinis ang environment, at kung gaano ka-epektibo ang governance. Dito rin natin makikita kung saan pa pwedeng mag-improve ang isang bansa. So, ang panghuli, limitations and challenges. Siyempre, hindi lahat ng sukatan o data ay madaling makuha. Minsan mahirap i-measure yung happiness, well-being o equality ng isang bansa. May mga limitasyon pa rin sa paggamit ng ganitong approach, pero importante pa rin na ginagamit ito bilang reminder na hindi lahat ng progress ay tungkol sa pera lang. So overall, yung 6 na yan ay pinapakita ng tunay na pag-unlad ay hindi lang nakikita sa economic numbers, kundi kung gaano ito nakaka-apekto sa tao at sa kalikasan. Kasi kung puro pera lang at hindi naman masaya o healthy ang mga mamamayan, hindi pa rin yun maituturing na totoong prosperity. So, dumako na tayo sa cultural exchange. So, next is cultural exchange. So, ito yung part na sobrang visible yung visible sa araw-araw nating buhay. So, dahil sa global integration, ang bilis nating ma-expose sa culture ng ibang bansa. Example, uso ngayon ang K-pop, K-drama, anime at western music. Lahat yan galing sa cultural exchange. Pero sa kabilang banda, naipapakita rin natin